Absolutely, heel Christian is about time too, and they always seem to give it a bit of time, put him back as a babyface, see if the support is there. I don't think he was getting over really that much. I mean, the song caused a pop, but I don't think people really were chanting anything. They weren't really getting into so much the chants with him, and I think they kind of look for things like that, the audience reaction. So perhaps they just decided to go a different way. It certainly loads up that particular one with quite a few heels. Edge, if he is currently heel, I'm sure he is. Chris Jericho, of course, The Miz, and now, Christian is in the other one. But there you go. Raw Money in the Bank. Evan Bourne, not a chance. I think John Morrison, possibly a chance of getting up there, but I think maybe he's going to be the bait and swerve guy. And Randy Orton, interesting to see an Orton in a match like this.
Yeah, it's kind of a little step down, as we said, from our last show, not last week because we weren't here the week before, where Orton's kind of been pushed slightly down a little bit, and he's kind of in US title territory a little bit with Miz. But on the bright side, we don't have R-Truth, thank God, in this one, so that's a good sign. Replacement, who's it going to be? There's a lot of speculation that Trips is on his way back. But then again, he's had some surgery, so fuck knows what's going to happen there.
Yeah, of course, it mentioned here in the chat room that Randy has been in a Money in the Bank, but certainly I can't remember it. But it's always interesting to see someone like that who isn't typically in there to be in this sort of thing. Again, maybe it takes away that special element. I mean, certain performers, this was their spot on WrestleMania. If they were of a certain size, then they could also maybe be getting a push. Then perhaps they'd expect to be in that Money in the Bank, and it was always a good way of getting 8 guys on WrestleMania who maybe didn't have a chance. So will it still be a case of it being on WrestleMania, or is that it? Is it just now just a gimmick pay-per-view entirely? But I mean, each and every year they've been changing the pay-per-view lineup, so it's quite hard to know what's going to happen. So Orton, talking Orton in the chat room, and plenty of people in there. Thanks indeed for joining us. Right, so we're going to continue, and I suppose we're going to look at predictions really. So I suppose if I was to pick one out of all those guys in the Raw Money in the Bank ladder match. So what we're talking about, basically a WWE Championship title opportunity. Well, they say any belt, don't they? But it's quite likely to be that one. And who has got a chance of going for that? So Sheamus v John Cena. Let's say John Cena takes it, and somebody's going to have to challenge him. Then who would it be? I mean, maybe I'm just going to go with Chris Jericho.
Yeah, it could be. I think I'd like to see a Cena Miz program. Would be very, very funny on Miz's behalf. He's got so much to give all the time, and it's always fun. But Miz, a little bit early, I think, for him to jump right up into that kind of level still. Although he's really almost there, but still just a little bit more to go, I think. To guess the empty spot, then you could have possibly Wade Barrett jump in there, but then it does counteract his title shot for winning NXT Season 1. So who else could fill the spot if Trips is fucked and Wade Barrett probably won't do it? Who else have we got on the Raw roster that could come in there? Probably nobody of nobody I can really think of that is any good.
Yeah, they took R-Truth out, didn't they? Or was that the SmackDown?
He's gone.
Yeah, so R-Truth's out of it. So who would they put in R-Truth's position? Ted DiBiase is in there, and if he wasn't, I'd say he would have a good chance. But I don't know, who else could qualify for that? Let's hope it's not Yoshitatsu. I mean, it's very possible.
Yoshi... Yeah... Yoshi would probably be a pretty bad choice. Maybe a bit too much too soon for him. How about Goldust? Is he on Raw these days?
Goldust is on Raw.
He's past it though, really, isn't he? He's not going to get anything. Just work with the guys and show them the ropes and all that stuff. But I suppose of who we have, I'd say it's not going to be Bourne. It's not going to be Morrison. It's not going to be Orton. It won't be Ted. So it won't be The Miz. So Jericho or Edge it has to be. I mean, you know, the top tier, one of the top tier guys is going to come out on top. Surprise, surprise. I'd say Jericho.
Yeah, it's just struck me as well. It's always the thing after WrestleMania when the guy who gets the briefcase, he then spends the next 6 to 8 weeks walking around with the briefcase and ending up in matches where he shouldn't be and pretending to challenge and then withdrawing the challenge. And we just had that a few weeks ago with Swagger. So I wonder now, with 2 of these matches going on, what's going to happen? Are we going to have 2 guys going around their respective brands, the same suitcase gimmick, saying that, you know, it's my turn? I mean, it certainly takes a lot of specialness from Swagger's win. I know it was on WrestleMania, but yeah, I just think it's a little bit questionable. But I suppose talking more, I mean, we both said perhaps Jericho, and I think, yeah, even Edge is certainly in the running for that. But the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match at Money in the Bank in a few days time now, not long to go, next Sunday. Of course, as well, coming up, more talk about TNA and the Victory Road pay-per-view, which is another one going on. I mean, how could you watch it all?
Yeah, it's a lot to watch. I think I'm going to watch Victory Road tonight. I'm not going to watch it because there is big news or a surprise, because I'm just sick of everybody involved with TNA for all this constant shit that they come out with. So I'm watching it to see wrestling, really, and I just couldn't really give a shit about some surprise that probably isn't going to happen. And if it is, it's probably, you know, they've signed Carlito or something, and you know, the world should rejoice or whatever. But yeah, it is just getting back to that pay-per-view there for a sec. I think having 2 Money in the Banks, so that's, like you say, 2 people with briefcases walking around like they own the place. Then you're going to have your season 1 Wade Barrett when he's cashing in. He's, well, in a sense, it's kind of like a Money in the Bank because it's a pay-per-view title match. Closely, again, you're going to have season 2 winner with the same thing. So that's 4 people dilly-dallying around the place with potential opportunities. Now, somebody's going to get shafted, and or else it's just going to be a complete clusterfuck to keep on top of it, because things will probably be changing left, right and centre. But of course, when was the last time they haven't changed left, right and centre? Because they're even trying to keep track of who's got what belt these days with 11 pay-per-views a year or 12 or whatever the fuck it is no easy feat.